Well, good morning, fellow traders. Jonathan van Clute here with Stock Navigators at 5:45 a.m. Pacific. Getting ready to do a pre-market analysis and see what the markets might have in store for us. So before I jump into this, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel. That way you'll receive notifications when I'm going to be going live and doing these types of analyses and other kinds of fun things we've got planned. And of course, also give me some feedback in the comments in the chat. Would love to know that you're here. If you are in the Discord room, say hello. And if you are not in the Discord room, well, get in the Discord room. We would love to see you over there, and I'd love to know that you are engaged and involved, and if there's anything we can do to help you out. So with that, let's take a look, starting with the ES. No big surprise. I'm sure anybody who's been paying any attention at all knows that we have just been falling out of the sky. Everything has been just dropping, dropping, dropping. We took out the lows from back in February of this year. That was a really big deal. Breaking that and staying below that area, this gigantic buy zone here, was no small thing. So we are in serious correction mode at this point. I mean, the next zones that could be even remotely considered to be any kind of a buy zone are, right down around here, not too far off from where the lows were. Oops, there we go. The lows of yesterday are just above that area. We did come off of that though, so perhaps that is going to hold for the time being. But right now, there's just no arguing it. We are in a downtrend for sure on the daily chart. Lower lows, lower highs, and so forth. We are below the 21 EMA. We've also got this descending trend line here. Oops, and I just moved the wrong thing. I meant to grab the chart and move it. Just everything is in the bear camp. The bears are very firmly in control at this time. That being said, Navigator is slightly divergent. It's nothing terribly significant. I'm not getting super excited, not getting my bull hat out for that. But at the moment, looking for basically a rally, maybe back up to this descending trend line, and see if the market wants to set up for further move to the downside. I know we're in the end of December and everybody's looking for that Christmas rally, the Santa rally, etc. At the moment, anyway, it does not look like it is going to be happening, but anything can change. All it would take is some kind of political news or something like that to come out and give the market warm fuzzies this time of year, and people will look for an excuse to call it the Santa rally. So who knows? Right now, it could turn on a dime, but the bigger picture is no question down. Absolutely. On the shorter term time frame on the 60. Same basic story, although the Navigator is a little bit more bullishly divergent. We have had clearly lower lows being set, but we've had higher lows being set on the Navigator. We even managed to cross the zero line just slightly here, briefly for just a very short period of time, just a few hours, before sinking back below. But we are making considerably higher lows. So there is some shorter term bullishness kind of creeping in, but it's not massive until it can get over the zero line and really hold that, and obviously get above this descending trend line, which would start with a break of the box to the upside if we can even get that. We haven't seen a lot of that. Every time there's an attempt to break the box to the upside, like here, it just gets slapped down again. The sellers show up and push it back down. So right now on the 60, definitely bearish as well. We would need to take out this box high to even begin to see even just a retrace back to the descending trend line here. So either you're looking to join the bear camp right now, or if you feel like it's just too late, there's been too much down move and you can't really get on the bear side, then there's not really a whole lot you can do right now. You're just waiting for some significant definitive sign to the upside. Now, if you're a shorter term scalper, if you're an intraday day trader and you're trading maybe 60-minute and 15-minute charts, 60-minute 5, something like that, then there's no shortage of opportunity because things are moving all the time. But just keep in mind your patterns of higher highs and higher lows. Watch for those buy zones and sell zones, and watch for your box to give you some final confirmation for potential trade entries. Let's take a peek at crude oil. and see what it is doing. Crude has broken that psychological major level of $50 and is continuing to head lower. It's down around 45 right now, but we do have a couple of buy zones. We've got one back here from about June or so, and we've got this one back here from all the way back in right around, looks like January, February 2016, something like that. So two decent buy zones shaping up just below where price currently is. So I think there's a very decent likelihood that price sinks down to test maybe this top level here before possibly getting some kind of a rebound. We do have the Navigator on the daily is bullishly divergent. It's making higher lows while the price is making lower lows. But at the moment, we're still just kind of riding this descending trend line. Price got back up above it couple of weeks ago, just a little bit, but wasn't really able to hold, and now is just sunk right back down into it. So the 21 EMA is also acting as a good support line, and just every time it gets up there, people have been joining the short side. So right now, much like the ES, the bears are firmly in control on oil. There's no question about it. But after such a steep down move for so long, and with how politically charged oil is, I would be wary of going short here unless it's just for the very short term. If you want to trade short-term charts, there certainly is opportunity. I mean, the 60-minute, you can see that this descending trend line. There's a second one actually. It's gotten even steeper, and has just come out. So right now, the crude has got to show some significant upside. It's got to get over this descending trend line, over the 21 EMA, to get any kind of real bullishness coming in. And ideally, the Navigator zero line. You want to see the Navigator get above that. We are divergent on the Navigator. Again, we have the same thing of lower lows in price, but higher lows in Navigator. But it still is quite a ways away from that zero line. And you can see here, it got almost up to the zero line and then failed to cross it and then just came back down again. So it could do that, several more times potentially. But I'm looking at this as a key area. This buy zone here, I think, is going to be a significant potential bounce point, with how steep this down move has been, and with the Navigator trying to get divergent on the daily, and the buy zone just sitting right here, right below price. I think that is a very reasonable target in the shorter term, maybe over next week. So we'll have to just see what crude wants to do, but right now, obviously, it has been beaten down pretty significantly, and got to get some significant bullish strength, a big bullish engulfing on the 60-minute, or something like that, that crosses the box and holds above it. Some kind of definitive sign. Right now, we just have no sign to the upside. It's all downside. All right, looking at gold. There we go. Gold is just still in this channel that I was talking about a few weeks back. It got to the top of the channel. You remember, it touched the bottom of the channel, and now it's deciding what it wants to do next. And the most likely outcome is probably to go down and test the bottom of the channel again, because that has been the pattern gold has been in for a good long while now. Most of the last, what's it been? Almost 6 months. So that's pretty much the story in gold, is channel. Right now, Navigators just basically in the same spot, same general spot that it was before. It's just a touch higher. It doesn't really mean anything. So I'd be looking for a possible confirmation of some kind of the downside, probably on a shorter term, like a 60-minute. Maybe look for a break of the box to the downside that holds, and see about entry. Obviously, obviously be careful though, because we saw a break of the box to the downside here, and then it continued higher. So as always, just practice good trade management. Keep your stops sensible, and make sure your position sizes are suited to your account, and so forth. But on the 60-minute, we are definitely in a bit of an uptrend here. We've got this trend line, and that has been this last push here to the upside. So watch for price to maybe come down, break that trend line to indicate that it is ready to make a downside move and head towards the bottom of the channel. That's what I would probably want to be watching for if I'm looking to trade gold. Right now, I can't see trading to the upside, not at this upper channel line. It just the risk reward just isn't there. Unless there's some massive sign to the upside, a huge break of this trend line with a big conviction candle and maybe on high volume and that sort of thing, unless we get something like that. I'm not seeing a lot of upside potential. I mean, you can see we had a huge candle here and it pushed right up to just beyond and then came right back. Definitely the top of this channel is holding firm and doing a good job of acting as resistance. Basically looking for downside in gold. That's what I would be looking to play. And now Bitcoin. Crypto, of course, all year has just been hammered, just gotten absolutely destroyed. But all of a sudden, something has changed in just the last few days. We've got a significantly divergent navigator. Bitcoin was making lower lows. Navigator was making higher lows and is pushing hard to get up to the upside, possibly to test that zero line. And then we've had several days now of upwards trajectory on the daily, which is a really good thing to see. And you can see it really well on the shorter term on the 60. We've had this big push here, all of a sudden making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs and higher lows. And we've taken out this level here. We've taken out this level, this level, this level. So it is marching upwards. And right now, this is the next area we're looking to test potentially is this sell zone right overhead. And that is a more significant one. There's no question about it. That is potentially a big deal. If Bitcoin can get up above, there we go, above that level here, and then from there we've got a significant amount of room to possibly recapture for the bulls. This is a potentially good sign. We're certainly not out of the woods yet, though. We've got this big descending trend line here. Got to get over. Got to get through several major sell zones on the larger time frame. There's a lot of overhead resistance, no question about it. It's got a big climb ahead of it to get back to the former glory of the Bitcoin highs. But at least in the shorter term, in the daily, we have gotten over the 21 EMA and held it, and with some conviction. I mean, that's a strong candle, and then it didn't really come back yet. It hasn't really retested or anything. So if we can get some continued follow through to the upside, then I think there is more room to go. I think that at the moment, it's probably a sensible time for those who have been short Bitcoin for a good amount of time. If they've been short Bitcoin most of the year, for example, now is probably a good time to be thinking about closing those out. If you've got profits on the table, it's getting towards the end of the year. We're talking tax time is coming and everything, and you very well may want to capture those profits before the end of the year, especially because all the institutional grade crypto products are coming online starting probably in January. There's going to be some big stuff happening. I'm not sure how many people want to continue to be short going into that. I don't think I would really want to maintain that kind of view. If we see some short covering, that will fuel a bounce, which could eventually turn into a rally as more and more shorts cover. It's going to be really interesting to watch Bitcoin in the next week, basically finishing out the year. I think it's going to be very telling to see what January might hold, what Bitcoin does through the end of the rest of the year. So in the short term, there's always lots of volatility in Bitcoin, so that's opportunity. You can trade pretty much both directions depending on what you want to do. The longer term right now, kind of the medium term, I guess you could call the 60, is definitely up and riding this trend line, looking to test this sell zone. Long term, of course, really long term, we're still absolutely in a downtrend. But if we can take out this area here on the daily, then that could start to change. And then we could see Bitcoin just march higher from there. All right, let's finish out with natural gas. Natural gas, of course, a few weeks back had this just massive, crazy move to the upside. It got really, really volatile and really crazy, but it has now broken back down below the 21 EMA and is held down below. This gap here, though, that happened appears to be kind of acting as support. So price has come back down, right around to that gap area and then kind of bounced off of it. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen there, if that gap is going to hold as support or if it will eventually fill. Gaps do tend to want to fill, but sometimes they take a while. So I'd be wanting to keep a close eye on that gap to see what happens there. Navigator has gone bearish. It has crossed the zero line to the downside on the daily. So there is definitely some bearish momentum coming in. We're also below the daily box, broke below, and have held below even as a new box came out. On the 60-minute, there is basically a channel going on. We're bouncing back and forth in this channel area and kind of just stuck there between these two zones, the buy zone and the sell zone. So right now, you're pretty much looking to scalp probably if you're on a short to medium term. Long term, though, we don't have a super clear trend or anything. It still just came out of this big messy very volatile area, and it looks like it's wanting to establish lower lows and lower highs. But I don't really see that it has clearly done that yet. But it would be pretty reasonable after the huge run up that natural gas saw that we have, a potential retracement, a significant retracement reversal of that, and come back down more to the ranges where it's been in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back down into the 250 to 3 area, somewhere in that range. But right now, it's just not a super clear trend, clear direction. I mean, certainly the trend of the 21 EMA is down. It's just a very choppy, volatile market right now. So if you're trading natural gas, you got to kind of be prepared for getting whipped around a fair bit. But certainly, if this gap can fill and hold below it, then I think there's reason to look for continued downside there. Shorter term, scalping, no shortage of opportunity. Just watch for your higher highs and higher lows to get taken out, and use your trend analysis, use your buy and sell zones, and trade accordingly. That is it for my analysis. I'm going to get ready for the trading day ahead and see what it has in store. Next week, of course, is Christmas. We've got short market hours on Tuesday, and then the market is closed on Wednesday, I believe. I think Christmas is Wednesday. Oh man, my mental calendar is just terrible. Fairly sure Christmas was Wednesday. Am I off by one? I am off by one. I knew something was wrong. Yeah, Christmas is actually Tuesday. So we got short market hours on Monday, and then Christmas Day, Tuesday, the market is closed. So there you have it. That is the game plan for next week. It'll be probably a fairly quiet week. I would expect Christmas week. Nobody's that excited about trading. I don't know how much trading I will even be doing myself. Next week might just be kind of a week off and then recharge for the new year. So anyway, I do expect to be doing another of our live Q&A calls for the Facebook group next week on Wednesday. So I look forward to maybe seeing some of you there. And I wasn't able to get the chat up this morning. It was giving me some problems. So if you were here live and I did not acknowledge you, I apologize for that. Hopefully I can get that sorted out and have the chat actually working for me live during the stream on my next one, which I suppose might be next week. I don't know. We'll have to see if I do one on Monday or not, given the nature of the short day. All right, that's it, everybody. Hope you have a great day of trading. And just a reminder again, please do subscribe and comment, give us a like, and let us know what you'd like us to see, what you'd like us to do, what you'd like to see more of in these videos. And I will see about getting it for you. All right. Trade well, everybody, and have a good one. Take care.